Hi and welcome to this new video. So today we are going to talk about one of the most popular Google Analytics for alternatives, which is Matomo. Matomo is an open source platform, which means you can really go beyond the what most tools can give you and add your own branding, add other features. In this video, I'm not going to talk about the advanced features. We are going to start at the ground level and show you how really to get started. We are going to discuss mainly the three options that you can use to set up Matomo. So you can either use an extension, this is, or a plugin. The second option is basically you let Matomo host the server where you will have your own data. This is what we call the Matomo cloud. So Matomo will take care of all the management of the server, and you only have to pay, of course, to have this data stored in their own servers. And the third option, which what we call the in-premise option, is you have your own servers, and basically you will take care of everything from the management to maintaining the server, and it's free. If you have servers in some space, you can get started with this option. So as you can see, I am in my Matomo account, or in the demo version of Matomo, which is available for the public, and you can access it using a link to their demo version. I'm going to leave it somewhere in the comment description. Basically, this is what you will be getting when you set up Matomo, your own account. There are certain features that are not available because you need to install plugins. We are not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to basically concentrate on the most important sections, starting with the dashboard. So the dashboard here really is much more flexible than something you can find in G4, where everything is really set in a certain place and you cannot move around stuff. Let's say I want to add a new report, choose whatever I want from here and add this country by new and returning visitors. And here it is. I can change how the data is presented among other stuff by clicking on the icon here. So this is the dashboard section. You can change dates here, and usually if you have multiple websites, you can change the website you are looking at using this drop down menu here. The visitor section is everything related to traffic. So visitors, how much time they are spending on the website, etc. You will find it here. There are certain interesting features like the real-time reports that they have here, but really it's pretty standard stuff. The behavior is everything related to interactions, or what we call events in G4. Here you will find a detailed report of your entry pages and exit pages, as well as a report that summarizes the traffic or the overall pages on your website. You will get something like this once you set up the Matomo interface. Here is an important section where you will get the events, and events are set up the way we used to in Universal Analytics. This means that you have an event category, an event action, and an event name. I'm going to talk about this in more detail in other videos. In the behavior, there are really some advanced reports, things that we really miss in G4, like the user flow. As you can see here, you can really see how users interact with your own website. What are the most popular pages in user flows? The acquisition reports is everything related to how you are generating traffic. We are going to talk about channels, which channels basically are helping us get traffic. Next, we have the e-commerce reports, is all about your sales data. If you have an e-commerce shop, you have to set up this, of course. It's the same as G4 or Universal Analytics. You need to set up the tracking, the goals. Up next, you can set them up as well using either GTM or their own tracker. Next, we have the funnels. The funnel section is really very good in Matomo. As you can see, you can have a funnel for each user journey, job application, for sales, for submitting a job, everything that has sequential steps. You can pretty much have it here, which makes it really helpful compared to what you have in G4, for example. Lastly, we have the forms in the media. If you have multiple forms in your website, you will see data related to forms. In media, it's basically for your video, audio content you can track here. There are certain features like A/B tests, heat maps, and session recordings. I don't remember that they are available by default. You need to set them up by purchasing a plugin. We are not going to talk about them here. In the next section, I'm going to talk about how to set up Matomo using a plugin. So I will see you there. Okay, so we are going to check about the plugin of Matomo that is available for WordPress websites. To look for your plugin, just go to plugins, add a new plugin, and you basically search for Matomo here. And you click on install now. I will activate it. The first thing you need to do is to enable tracking. This option really is useful, especially if you do not have a Google Tag Manager account. By clicking here, the tracking will be enabled and you will get to see your data. Once you have the basic setup already, you can move to the settings. Here, Matomo tells you that you can add this code. You do not have to, but you can, as like a plan B. If you disable tracking or something does not work, you can add this code as a backup to your plugin. You can tell your developer to add this code if you do not know how to. The second option is the currency, so you can change it here from the settings, and when we scroll down you can see that there are certain interesting features. For example, if you have WooCommerce or a membership website, Matomo can track certain e-commerce information automatically. Definitely leave it on and test things out once you get the data to see if everything is working properly. Okay, so it's time for us to check about Matomo Cloud before moving to Matomo on-premise. We saw how the Matomo for WordPress or the plugin works. Now we are going to check about the Matomo Cloud. And as a reminder, Matomo Cloud is when you basically outsource all the management of the server and the maintenance to Matomo, and you need to pay, of course, depending on the number of hits you will get. To get started with Matomo Cloud, you basically have a 21-day trial. So you can try it out. If you do not like it, you can cancel it. You just add your information here and they will send you a link. So I already got the email from Matomo. In the plugin, you just needed to have a checkbox marked and you are basically ready to go. But in this option, you need to either use Google Tag Manager. If you are coming from Google Tag Manager, you already have some tags. It doesn't make sense to use Matomo's own solution. Just go with Google Tag Manager. You can choose really the whichever method. You can even tell your developer to use JavaScript code, but I usually recommend Google Tag Manager or Matomo's Tag Manager. Let's go with Google Tag Manager. In here, you need to basically fill the information and create a Matomo tag. I authorized my Google account by just clicking on this button right here. This is the information about my container and where I want to add the tag. And once you click on this button right here, Matomo will create a configuration tag in the specific container you added here. When we look at our container, you can see that Matomo added an HTML code. So this is the tracking code for Matomo. You've got basically your Matomo instance here, among other information. You really do not need to do anything else. If you do not know what you are doing and you never use GTM, you can just publish the container. The exception to this is that if you have a cookie banner and you need to configure basically the restrict the tag to notify when there is no consent. This will depend on really the specific configuration of your website. You need to really talk to someone who knows how to configure cookie banner, trigger, and block the tag when there is no consent. If that's not a problem to you, you can go ahead and just submit, add a name to the version here, and you can publish. So how this works is very simple. First, we need to create our subdomain. We'll use something called Softaculous. So Softaculous will manage the Matomo installation. It's just a feature to install Matomo very quickly on our newly created subdomain. This will make sense once I will start doing it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to create a new subdomain in my cPanel. If you want to follow with me, you can just go to cPanel and look for domains in the search bar. You can go ahead and create your Matomo instance. I will submit and make sure that this option is not checked. You can name it whatever you want really. I just choose Matomo for clarity purposes. So we can see that we have the subdomain here. I'm going to open Softaculous. If you can see it, just use the search bar. Here it is. And now look for Matomo. The next step is to click on install. Here, make sure that you choose the right subdomain. You don't want to create any filters here. And the admin accounts, of course, I cannot show you all of this because there is some confidential data I like to add, but you need to just change the admin username. So I filled my information and I clicked on install at the bottom. And now I'm just waiting for my installation to finish. Now I have the access to my login panel. Now I can log into my Matomo account. As you can see, I'm prompted to install my code using either Google Matomo's own Tag Manager or Google Tag Manager. So I'm just going to follow, or you are going to follow the same steps to proceed with the installation. It's basically the same thing we saw earlier. So that's it for this video. I showed you the three methods. There are many ways to do this. The easiest one being the plugin, and the hardest one being this one we saw right now. What you choose will depend on how much flexibility you want in control. Of course, the more control you will get, the harder it will be to set up. I hope you enjoyed this video. This won't be the last one for Matomo. I will keep uploading content around Matomo and get deeper into the interface and how to set up more advanced tracking. Thank you for watching, and until next time.